What if power wasn't enough? What if winning, controlling, ruling still didn't satisfy you? What if the only thing that felt real in a universe of shifting sands and political lies was domination? Imagine a man who literally floats above the ground, not out of a desire for godhood, but because his own body has become a monument to excess. He is silent. He is watching. He is calculating. Armies move at his command. Worlds bend to his will. The very air you breathe on Arrakis belongs to him. And yet, he leans closer to his enemies. Not to defeat them quickly, not to secure a political victory. He leans in to break them. Slowly, personally, completely. And here's the most disturbing part. He doesn't need to do it. He doesn't need to be cruel to be successful. He wants to. He enjoys the texture of suffering as much as he enjoys the taste of the finest delicacies. That is the terrifying appetite of Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. He doesn't just want to lead the system, he wants to eat it. This is Beyond the Villain, where we unmask evil, one story at a time. Tonight we examine not just the tactical brilliance of House Harkonnen, but the hedonistic philosophy that made its cruelty inevitable. From the Dune saga, portrayed by Stellan Skarsgård, we look at a ruler who didn't just seek power. He consumed it until there was nothing left but the shadow of his own greed. Baron Harkonnen represents the logical extreme of hedonistic power and domination. He shows us what happens when restraint is completely removed from authority. In his world, there is no greater good, no sacred duty, and no order. There is only excess. He is the personification of a system that has stopped producing and has started purely extracting. Before we begin, if you want to support Beyond the Villain, you can check out my Patreon or buy me a coffee. Links are in the description below. Now let's begin the unmasking. Baron Harkonnen doesn't rise from a vacuum of chaos. He rises from a family lineage built on the three pillars of Harkonnen survival: control, wealth, and influence. In the Imperium of Dune, House Harkonnen was never considered weak. They were considered useful. They were the ones the Emperor called when he needed someone to do the dirty work: the mining, the squeezing, the brutalizing of populations for profit. In that environment, ruthlessness isn't a character flaw. It's a job requirement. We don't need to see Vladimir Harkonnen as a child to understand him. Everything about him, his gravity-defying suspensors, his vast wealth, his industrial homeworld of Giedi Prime, tells the story. He learned early that in a feudal galactic empire, power is never given. It is taken, and once you take it, you hold it with a grip so tight that it bleeds. He doesn't believe in the soft power of diplomacy, unless it is a prelude to a knife in the back. Arrakis became his laboratory. As the steward of the most valuable resource in the universe, the spice melange, Harkonnen became the heartbeat of the galactic economy. He understood that if you control the spice, you control the ability of the guild to travel, the ability of the great houses to live longer, and the ability of the emperor to maintain his throne. But where a leader like Duke Leto Atreides saw the spice as a responsibility to be managed, Harkonnen saw it as a lemon to be squeezed until the rind was bitter. The turning point in our understanding of the Baron isn't his military victory over House Atreides. It was a perfectly executed betrayal involving a brainwashed doctor and the Emperor's own Sardaukar. It was a masterpiece of strategy. But look at how the Baron behaves when he finally has Duke Leto at his mercy. A normal villain would have killed the Duke instantly to secure the win. Harkonnen doesn't. He lingers. He wants to watch the light leave Leto's eyes. He wants to mock him. He approaches the paralyzed Duke not as a victor, but as a predator. He absorbs the moment. Because to the Baron, power isn't complete until the victim knows they have been utterly dominated. This isn't survival. It's a fetish. It's a desire that has no limits because it is fueled by the ego's need to be the only thing that matters in the room. At his core, Baron Harkonnen represents a primal distortion of the will to power. While thinkers like Friedrich Nietzsche spoke of the Übermensch, the individual who transcends traditional morality to create their own values, Harkonnen represents the lower man, who mistakes cruelty for transcendence. Social Darwinism to the extreme. Harkonnen operates on a dark version of social Darwinism. He believes the universe is a meat grinder, and you are either the one turning the handle or the one being ground up. To him, mercy is just a word weak people use to describe their inability to do what is necessary. But he goes a step further than mere survival. This is hedonistic domination. Most tyrants kill to remove threats. Harkonnen kills because it feels good. Most tyrants extract resources to build an empire. Harkonnen extracts resources to satisfy his own bottomless appetite. In the Baron's worldview, morality is a ghost. He is a materialist in the most literal sense. He believes in what he can touch, what he can eat, and what he can break. This connects to the concept of psychological egoism, the idea that humans are always motivated by self-interest, even in what seem to be acts of altruism. The Baron is the honest egoist. He doesn't pretend to have a cause. He doesn't claim to be saving the galaxy. He is simply the most honest version of a black hole, taking everything in and giving nothing back. Standing against the Baron's gluttony is the philosophy of House Atreides, led by Duke Leto and his son Paul. If Harkonnen is desire, then Atreides is discipline. The Atreides philosophy is built on the idea that power is a trust. It is the belief that a leader is only as strong as the loyalty they earn. This aligns with the Stoic tradition. The idea that a man's worth is measured by his self-control and his commitment to justice, even in the face of death. Harkonnen rules. Through fear. Fear is easy, it is immediate. But fear is also brittle. It creates a system that requires constant pressure to maintain. Atreides leads through loyalty. Loyalty is hard. It requires sacrifice. But loyalty creates a system that can survive even when the leader is gone. Harkonnen hates House Atreides not because they are a threat to his spice production, but because their existence is an insult to his worldview. If the Atreides can be successful while being good, it proves the Baron's cruelty wasn't a necessity, it was a choice. To justify himself, the Baron must prove that everyone is as corrupt as he is. Baron Harkonnen isn't just a space villain, he is the personification of extractive colonization. History is full of real-world Harkonnens, systems and individuals who viewed entire nations as nothing more than spice mines. In the 19th and 20th centuries, colonial powers moved into regions of Africa and Asia with a singular goal: extraction. The human cost, the lives lost in rubber plantations or gold mines, was considered a rounding error in the ledger of profit. The logic was the same as the Baron's. We see smaller versions of the Baron in modern industrial practices. The burn and turn culture, where companies use up their employees' mental and physical health, then discard them when they are no longer productive. Environmental exploitation, prioritizing quarterly earnings over the long-term survival of the planet. When success is measured only by how much more can we get, the system eventually becomes a Harkonnen system. It becomes a parasite that kills its host. Now we come to the question that makes the Baron so fascinating. Is Baron Harkonnen truly evil? Or is he just the only honest person in the Imperium? Think about the Emperor. He claims to be the father of the people, but he secretly orders the genocide of a great house to protect his throne. Think about the Bene Gesserit. They claim to be serving humanity, but they spend centuries manipulating bloodlines like cattle. Harkonnen doesn't lie to himself. He doesn't hide behind the greater good, like Alma Coin. He doesn't hide behind duty, like King Bradley. Is a monster who calls himself a monster better than a monster who calls himself a saint? We often forgive effective leaders for their cruelty as long as they provide results. In the world of Dune, the Baron provides the spice. He keeps the wheels of the universe turning. Would we, the citizens of the Imperium, really want to know how the spice is made? Or would we rather just have our ships arrive on time? The Baron is a mirror of our own consumerism. He wants more. More food, more space, more power, more life. We live in a world that tells us that more is always better. The Baron is simply what happens when that idea is allowed to grow unchecked for 1,000 years. He is the logical endpoint of a society that values having over being. So, how do we defeat the Baron Harkonnen within our own systems? 1. Prioritize impact over extraction. Whether in your job or your relationships, ask yourself, am I adding value or am I just taking it? 2. Reclaim self-control. The Baron's greatest weakness was his inability to say no to himself. Real power isn't the ability to do whatever you want. It's the ability to not do something even when you have the power to. 3. Loyalty over fear. Build systems, families, teams, communities that are held together by mutual respect. A system built on fear only lasts as long as the person at the top stays strong. A system built on loyalty lasts forever. The Baron died because he underestimated the Fremen, the people he viewed as scum and animals. He was so focused on the Duke and the Emperor that he forgot that the people you exploit eventually become the fire that burns you down. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen represents the logical end of power without a soul. He is a warning that power, when divorced from responsibility, becomes a black hole. It doesn't build, it only consumes. It doesn't lead. It only dominates. The truth is, he didn't hide the rot of the Imperium. He was the rot. He showed us that the most terrifying villains aren't the ones who want to change the world, but the ones who want to eat the world until there is nothing left but them. The most terrifying villains aren't the ones who lie to you. They are the ones who tell you the truth, that they don't care about you at all, and then wait for you to realize there's nothing you can do about it. So now the question is yours. Is Baron Harkonnen a monster who enjoyed his own corruption? Or is he a mirror of a world that values profit and dominance over everything else? If you lived on Arrakis, would you have the courage to resist the squeeze? Or would you find a way to make yourself useful to the Baron just to survive? This has been Beyond the Villain, where we unmask evil, one story at a time. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel to get the latest unmasking of every villain. Thank you for watching, and peace.